Hello everyone, in this video we're going to see about getting the 65 Ford Falcon up and running. Shouldn't take much. We might give it an oil change and we're going to get it cleaned up and ready for the summer. Woohoo! It's that time again. It's warming up. It's just got to stop raining. It's so wet. I wanted to take a minute and say thank you to everyone for subscribing. We just hit 5,000 subscribers on here, and that is wow. You guys really been enjoying the content. So I want to thank everyone for all the likes and shares and comments. It's been really fun. So let's get into this one and see if we can get it running. Let's go ahead and open the hood on these Ford Falcons and even the Mustangs. Up underneath here you have a little latch. You just pull out on that, lift up, and when you go to close the hood, it's got a double latch. You got to kind of pull out a little bit, so hook the first one and then push it down again and you'll close the second one. Open it up, it's just one solid motion. And we're in. Took the liberty of stealing the battery out of the Ram over there just because I share the same battery between the two at the minute. I'm gonna have to buy one for this specifically. Well, a few years ago we put a 12-volt alternator on it. That was a nice upgrade. And we went with the one-wire alternator because the voltage regulator went bad and it let the alternator overcharge, I guess, and it killed it. So I bought a new regulator. I was in debate on if I want to buy a normal alternator or just one of these, so I went with a one-wire. Seems to work fairly good. We have an HEI distributor. That was an upgrade worth making. This engine runs so much better with that. It's just one of those Chinese ones. I haven't had any issues with it. I've heard some people saying they have problems with them, but it just replaces the original one. You got a little vacuum line on the back there that goes off to your carburetor for the Advance. It does have a wire for a tach. It's got where you can hook a tachometer into it real easy, and it has another wire on there that goes out to your power. Real simple to set up. Not too bad to get in the time either. Really wasn't that hard. Now, the more complicated thing on this engine is I have a carburetor that's more for like a 300. This is a 170, but it works out fairly well. You'll notice that this is not the original air breather for a 170 because I got this off a Mustang that had a 200 in it, but it also had a modified carburetor, and that's where I got the idea to do this. Because the people that made that carburetor had a custom rod made up here so the linkage would fit. And it all seems to work. The choke works. This is just a cheap Chinese one I bought off the internet for I think around 70 bucks. I'll try and leave a link to that. I'm not sure if that actually hooked into anything under here. No. Might have to put a cap on that. I don't remember that being open. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Not too bad. It does have the choke heat tube going off. That all fit in pretty well. It seems to work, which is nice having a working auto choke. I originally had a Chinese auto light on here. It was like 1100 auto light, I do believe, and it had a manual choke and it just didn't work out quite right, and that factored in with the distributor not being 100%. I think the vacuum Advance, it acted like it was fine. If you sucked on it, it acted like it held where you were at, but I don't know, something was just never quite right with it. And now I got her all tuned in and everything seems to run pretty good. But this little upgrade didn't take anything super special. It mainly just needed a different linkage made up, and I had to really dial it in on the tuning. Now I'll go ahead and check our air filter for a mouse nest. It looks pretty good. Oh yeah, that's right. I do need to get a proper air filter for this. I forgot about that. I had to hack up the old one because it was smaller so it would fit in here. Oh well, as long as it's mostly filtering like that, because the intake's there, all the dirt's going to come in around there. But I've been running like that for a little while. It'll be okay. We'll have to get a filter for it. Coming over here, I haven't had this cap off since I did the brakes. They work. I've never really questioned it. I've never had a leak. One thing I do regret though is I wish I would have done a two-stage master cylinder where it's got a reservoir for the back and a reservoir for the front. Instead, everything's hooked into this one. You get a leak anywhere, there go all your brakes. Good thing the emergency brake works, or parking brake I should say. But yeah, definitely worth doing that upgrade if you're looking into this. I don't know why I didn't just do the double. I should have. Of course, they're manual brakes too, but it is a stick shift. This is a 3 on the tree. There are your linkages down there for the controls on the steering column. And you can slow yourself down pretty good just by downshifting. So let's go ahead and check our oil real quick. And we're right at the full mark. All right. Seems pretty good. Yeah, she could do with an oil change. She's a little gassy, but it'll run for the minute. Everything seems good fluid-wise. You just got oil, antifreeze, brake fluid. That's about it for as simple as this car is. Well, we could check our window washer fluid. There's nothing in there. But what they had was just a little bag that you could just fill up. And there's a hose. Well, maybe the hose is still here. No, I guess it's gone. But little hose would run up here to the squirters. And then there's a foot pedal on the inside. Up under here, this little guy is both a switch to turn on the windshield wipers, and then it pushes in on this little button back here. It's a plunger, and that'll make suction, and that'll make a vacuum as you push on it. It'll both activate your windshield wipers and spray your windshield off. As you can see, she's pretty dirty. We could really use that today. Things I've done to this car: pulled the motor out, rebuilt it. I had the crankshaft turned down 10 thousandths. The cylinders are all standard. I didn't have them cut out anymore. They were fine, even though number 6 looked like someone just beat on it with a hammer. It was really beat up. I had hardened valve seats done up in the head. I had a machine shop put those in, and definitely worth it so it can run on the unleaded gas. Otherwise, you'd want to put lead additive in it if you're going to drive it a lot to help keep everything lubricated. But this way, you can just run straight pump gas and no issues. What else have I done? New fuel pump, new starter, you know, HEI distributor. The carburetor was upgraded. The radiator was fairly new when I got the car. The previous owner had put shocks in it. The guy I got this from started going through it. Like I say, shocks, fuel tank, radiator. He was trying to get this thing done up, and then he got in a divorce, and he didn't want his wife to get it. So it ended up in the scrapyard, and it was going to get crushed. My dad brought it home, and I was just like, oh, I really like this car. It wasn't this color. I did this. Here's what it looked like originally. It was a silver blue. I didn't paint the door jambs or anything. I just wanted to get this thing in a drivable state, you know. And for the most part, you look at it from a distance, it's pretty neat, and mechanically it's pretty sound. So it's just something fun to put around in. And you know, oh no, someone scratched my paint. I don't have to worry about that. It's not a big deal. I can scuff it and respray it. There's just spray paint. All of this whole car is just rattle can. Nothing real special. What's underneath the hood could really use a respray, huh? She's starting to peel off there, and oh wow. You know, it's just a fun car. But I did a two-tone underneath. I don't know why. Is that just all the paint I had? I had black so far down and then blue. I guess it just kind of matches the outside of the car with the black and blue. The bumpers were in a terrible state. They were super pitted, so I went ahead and did the old give it some black paint. It'll look good from a distance. You know, you can't hardly tell it's super pitted. Well, when it's cleaned up, you can't. You know, it needs a little more paint done up here and there. But you know, just a fun little car to put around in. So we're going to see about getting her out cleaned up. I know I had some gold paint lying around, so I thought that just looked kind of different. Look at the grill, and you got a couple gold horns in there, just to be different. Well, I'm sure you guys are waiting to hear it run, so let's go ahead and get it fired up. We'll pull it out, and then we'll go over some of the things on the interior. There's not a whole lot there. It's a pretty simple car. Will the 65 Ford Falcon fire up? Let's find out. I just took the... Nope, I didn't hook the battery up. You got to hook up the battery. We're not going to get very far. Okay, now we should be good to go. Well, she's alive. Smoking a little bit. Choke's probably still on though. She just fired up and we had it full choke. A little bit of an exhaust leak going on. I really need to get a whole new tailpipe. Last winter, I came under here and oh, it's really wet. Yeah, I had to put a couple extension pipes in there because there were holes there, and then I had to cut further up forward, and then I ended up putting just a hole. I had to put two together to make it work, and I had it in the shop, and I needed to get it out of the shop so I get that deer in there and start working on it. So need to get some pipe and fix this thing up. The donut at the front. This guy down here's yeah, definitely that's hot. So I need to get a new one of them. You know, she needs a little money thrown at her, but for the most part, she runs pretty good. You guys an exhaust clip. Honestly, I'm not sure what that muffler tips off of. I always thought it was neat. And once the motor warms up, it should come down to more of an idle. That choke will open and she'll come down some more because it's running a little quick at the minute. Got a 1965 license plate just screwed onto the back there because I thought that was kind of neat to have. We'll go ahead and hop in the back and start our tour there, huh? Got the essentials, you know, you got a chair, you got some random tools, jumper cables, voltmeter, some extra wire because I needed that one time when a wire broke. I'm glad I had some in there. Seats have the little Falcon logo on the back. That's been pushed in as long as I've owned it. Kind of a shame. It needs a headliner, you know, but I want to replace the door seals. All this weather stripping door seals are just, you know, they do a great job. I put this chrome here, well, both to kind of accent it and also to help keep the water from getting in. At least that was my plan. I don't know if it really works that well. But as you can see, the weather stripping is very gone. So that all needs replaced. Up here, it all needs replaced. You know, this thing needs to be all tore apart and gone through a little more properly, but she's not too bad. I could run this car down pretty good, but overall she's pretty solid. The worst bit of rust is back here in the trunk. To get in there, I'm gonna have to grab the key. Go ahead and open that up. And I really need to clean this trunk out. Well, I haven't been able to get in here for, gosh, how many years ago did I lose that? 3 or 4 years ago I lost the key to the trunk and I had to get a new lock cylinder done up for it. But overall it's not too bad. I kind of had this rope up there to work as a seal. I don't think it did much either. As you can see, she was pretty rotted out. It needs a new lip up here. Needs a new trunk seal. For the most part, this thing sits under a carport or inside. I don't drive it on rainy days. What a terrible way to have a car, but you know, I got to treat it like it's a convertible with the top down all the time. Your spare tire would go here. Right now my spare tire is on that car. The bolt lugs will not fit, but they're close enough to where I can roll it around with it because I needed something that held there. That's going to have to change because I need a spare in this. You know, some more tools. Oh yeah, I got this at a yard sale or an auction or something one day, and I just threw it in here because I'm like, oh well, it's got most of what you need. It's got this big square socket, but it's still, you know, a ratchet set, and it's got like a pivot, an extension, you know, so it's still like most of your tool, most of what you're going to need to get the job done. Just really old. What is that? Oh, easy install. Maybe that was something I put on my truck. Ejector cleaner. Oh yeah, this bucket. I got that bucket because I had a fuel leak one day, and I wanted to make sure I always had a bucket on me in case that happened again, because I filled it up. It was kind of my maiden voyage with it. I was actually coming down here to my grandparents' place. I stopped and got gas, and it started leaking at the pump, and I came down here, and like right over there, Grandpa comes out. He had a bunch of empty cans of gas. He just filled everything up, the mowers and stuff, and he was just like, oh, okay, sure, we can get that. And I don't know if he gave me his bucket or where I got it from, but we started, you know, I just put like 10 gallons of gas or something in it, you know, about filled the tank up, and it just starts pouring out of the bottom. But yeah, he had some gas hose, and we were able to get the line figured out and fixed. So I knew where to come. Otherwise, I would have had to go all the way to the other side of town while leaking gas everywhere. And that gas tank and the muffler are kind of close, because up here is where the fuel is leaking out of, and the muffler's right there. A lot of heat next to a lot of exhaust. Or a lot of heat next to a lot of gas. Not ideal. I'm surprised the mice haven't been in this car. Like, I was expecting that to be all just riddled with a mouse nest or something, but I do have the little things that sit down in here, but the lower quarters is what I was getting. These lower panels are pretty, they're still steel there, but they're not in the greatest of shape. They got Bondo in them. But, you know, that's just the way it is. These things, that one's actually pretty solid yet. Overall, that one's pretty good. It's just the other side that really needs it. Yeah. Overall, that's the trunk. I need to clean it out a little bit, but not too bad. Got a jack. Gotta have a jack. Got your rod for it. Oh, there's a hole. See, that's why I'm surprised mice haven't been into this car. That wouldn't be hard to climb up and get to. There was a couple little holes there. I bashed around a piece of metal we had and riveted it in there because I didn't have a welder. I still don't have a good welder. That needs to change. I need to get a good wire welder. The floor pans, on the other hand, we had a wire welder. It just wasn't that great. It was a Lincoln flux core welder, and it was old and wore out, but I need to clean all that out. But, yeah, she's got new floor pans put in, front and rear, because they were just gone. Someone had stop signs in here, and they had this carpet stretched so tight. They had this carpet stretched so tight that it felt like there was a floor under there, but there wasn't. You come up underneath, and it's like, nope. So yeah, we need to vacuum this all out. I've had the interior out. Actually, whenever I bought that Corvair was the last time I had the seats pulled out of it, because I clear coated this. I didn't want to repaint the interior, so I clear coated the dash and the side panels, and I did paint the pillars black, and I painted these black. And I kind of painted this. Someone painted that purple. I don't know why, but everything else, like purple was the one weird color that was on this car. So I painted that black too. You can see daylight through that door. It needs seals bad. Front seat, not too bad a shape. Oh, that was the other reason I pulled the interior. I had stuck some wire, some real heavy gauge, like number 9 wire, across here to support the seat, because otherwise it was all sagged in, and the springs are all messed up in here. So I did a little seat repair. It's comfortable enough to sit on. I need to tape that up again. Over there is all kind of messed up too. It really could use new seats, or these reupholstered and fixed. I like having the big bench seat though. That's kind of neat. However, I've been very tempted to pull the seats out of that Corvair and have just dual bucket seats, because they're about the same color. See what I mean? Need to get back to work on this car too, this 30 Ford Model A. That's where I need a good welder. That one is just, it doesn't look, that's the best I could get out of it. Just couldn't get it to start a good arc or anything. I mean, it's holding, But if I'm going to put a steel roof in here, I need something that can give me a consistent bead and not just a and nah, that ain't going to do it. The plasma cutter works great though, an AutoGen plasma cutter. Anyway, yeah, we'll have to get back onto the Model A. Got to get an oil filter, the whole thing for you. And the Deer, I got to paint the wheels, and I think it'll be about ready to ship out of here. Oh yeah, a decal set. I want to get all the stickers on it too. Yeah, I always liked the V8s, how they'd have a little badge on the front here, say 289 or whatever. And I was like, well, I could just get a 170 decal off the air breather and throw it on there. Well, I wanted to give you guys a tour of the interior, but we're facing the sun. I guess we'll have to turn it around, huh? Well, now that we're inside, we'll start at our left and go to our right. We have our door handle right there. Down here, we would have our window crank. Looks like that. I have the wrong one just laying down here somewhere, so I can get it up and down. I'm missing the door card here. It was all messed up. I've been trying to find one exactly like that. Same color and everything. That's the same reason I clear coated this dash and these. I kind of wanted to keep this color the same. Up here we have your vent window, smoker window. Everyone's got a different name for it. And that'll let your fresh air in. Down low here we also have a fresh air intake. And that's this knob. It was open. But there's a big vent down there. What? It's right here. And that there will let fresh air in. So that's pretty nice. Coming down to the dash, we've got our fuel gauge, high beam indicator, speedometer, our idiot light for, I believe that's oil pressure. Yes, that would be oil pressure. And this is alternator. Tell you it's not charging. Well, the alternator light never worked because I put that aftermarket one on and I could never get the light to go off when it's running. See what I mean? And then the oil sensor I disabled because I put a pressure gauge on and then it ended up breaking the line, and now I don't know if I have pressure or not. Whoopsie. So we might have to address that too at some point, but the light did work for the oil pressure until it didn't. Could be it's blown, I'm not totally sure. Then we have our temperature gauge, and both of these gauges do work. The temperature will rise and the fuel gauge works. So we're going to have to get some gas in it. Turn signal, that's kind of an interesting one. We have one turn signal for left and right. It doesn't tell you which one's on, it just tells you, hey, one of your blinkers is on, shut it off. Which is required because the part in here, when you make a full rotation, it's plastic and it broke, so I have got to remember to reset my turn signal every time when I drive this car. It's no big deal. I mean, at least it has turn signals. My Model A, you got to stick your arm out the window, so I'll take this over that any day. We have our light. Coming to the left of the controls, we've got our light switch. You got your parking lights, your high beams, and then you twist for the dimness of the dash, and all the way on, turn on your dome light. You could get courtesy lights in this car, and there would have been switches here and on the other side, so when you open the door that dome light would come on. But this was a very base model Falcon, and you'll see out here in a second how base it was. We have our wipers. You twist to turn on. You have both a high and low function. I don't want to turn them on because they do work, but the windshield's dirty and I don't want to scratch it. You got your key. You've got a cigarette lighter that's, you know, we'll find out if it works or not. I'm pretty sure it did. We'll come back to that. We have our HVAC controls. Well, it's just heating. It's not, no air conditioning involved with this one. You got temperature, defroster, and heat, how much you want. Center is off and left and right is on for the blower motor. However, the blower motor has long since quit blowing. Then we have our ashtray. Nice big one, because you gotta have an ashtray. Now here's what I meant about this car being a very base model. Where's our radio at? We got the radio delete plate instead, which in some ways is rarer than actually having a radio in this car, so that's kind of a neat thing to have. It is plastic, and there are like 2 little screws on the back that you have to take off if you want to remove this, so you got to reach your arm up behind the dash and unscrew them. But just a neat little thing to have. I do not have a radio in this car. Someone added one in at one point. It had one when I got it, and so I put a different one in, and kind of, I think I put a speaker up in one of these grills and had some strung around, and they had the one in the back seat there. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem worth having a radio. I just bring one of those Bluetooth speaker things and I'll just throw it down here. I did add the little cup holder. It doesn't do much, but I probably could anchor it down actually. But it's nice just having something to throw little things like a water bottle or whatnot. Yeah, I see that, and the water bottle's on the floor. I always carry leave water bottles in here in case I need to add to the antifreeze, because you never know when something major is going to go wrong. Over here we have our glove box, or a facade of a glove box with some of the worst cup holders I've seen in any vehicle. This is just somewhere to set your cup. They are not deep enough to do anything useful. So yeah, you can put your drink on there. At least it's kind of flat. It's tapered in a little bit, but not too bad. Originally these would have had a cardboard, is there any remnants of it? No. It would have had a cardboard box, like a black cardboard box in here, and that would have been your glove box, but that has been long since gone. What do we have? Hard tops and convertibles. Oh, we have the PSI. Tells you how much pressure you should have your tires set at. We'll go ahead and pop that shut. I think it closes good. There it goes. You'll notice my dash is a little bit weird too, because some of these cars had fancier plastic that went all the way across, or it might have said Falcon across, and this one's just so base model. You get a gauge cluster, a radio delete, and an all steel dash. No padding, no fanciness, no nothing. And then we come over to the other side and it's about the same. You do have manual door locks, which is nice. And yeah, overall that's about it for features on this car. Oh, we do have our little sun visors. I need to replace that too. Have you noticed this car needs work yet? It's a driving project. It's just something that it was my first car. Dad brought it home. I fell in love with it. And I'm like, all right, we're going to get you going. Enjoy it. And that's what I've been doing. I've been enjoying it. Fix little things here and there. It hasn't been a real deep project. It's just something I like to get out and run around in. I was kind of hoping to do the same thing with the Corvair, but it just, I have too many other projects going on. I don't know if I'm ever going to finish that one out. And this one's a little, well, you can find parts easy enough for that one. It's just, this one's, I don't know. I feel this car is a little easier to work on than that one. These cars would have been in pretty strong competition around 64. That's a 63. But I believe 64, 65 Corvair came out with their updated styling where it almost looks like a Camaro more than a, like the rear end looks like Corvette here. But yeah, and then when I say that, I mean the tail lights and everything. You look at a Corvette around that era, they're pretty similar in the rear. The front's not so much. Coming down below, we've got our high beam, low beam for the headlights. We have our windshield sprayer that will turn on the windshield wipers when you hit it. It's really annoying when you come off the clutch and you think you're just going to land down, at least when you have big feet, and you hit that and you knock your wipers on. I'm trying to avoid that, at least till I clean them. You got your emergency brake. You just pull out and then release it. Yeah, twist in. A lot of times these handles are broken, so you got to make sure to kind of put your pressure in the center here and not so much on the end. That end's more or less just to help you twist it down. Is there anything? Oh yeah, this is a 3 on the tree. So with your clutch in, toward me and down is first, come up and let it back, and then go up again is second, and then straight down is third. So, and then towards me and up is reverse. So we have reverse, first, second, third. It's just like if it was on the floor, you know, you'd have reverse, first, second, third. And they do make kits where you can put this on the floor, and sometimes I've wondered if I'd rather just do that, because this does get kind of old doing that, and then it's right where my knee is, you know. And I have come up and kind of bumped this and popped it out of third gear before, you know, moving around. And so for someone of my stature, which is about 6'7", really long legs, a floor shift almost would be nicer in some regards. Well, we'll find out if our cigarette lighter's working. My fingers are so numb I can't hardly feel that. Well, putting it on like a bag or something, and no, it's not smoking, it's not smoldering, it's not even hot to the touch. So maybe this is just bad. Let's go ahead and plug something in here and see if it wants to work at all, because I could have sworn that cigarette lighter worked. Well, this is kind of appropriate bringing this guy out, because we're talking about hitting 5,000 subscribers. This has brought a lot of you guys in. The video, or the short where I went through and got this thing up and going. The short where I went through and showed you guys how to use it. Nope. All right, we have a dead cigarette lighter. I could have sworn this worked. Hold on, maybe it only works on accessory. No. Nothing. Well, I wonder what's going on there. I'm trying to follow this wire. It's this big black wire, but I don't know where it's going off to. It's possible it got cut while it's going through here and pulling stuff out, because I ripped a bunch of wiring out that they had going to the radio, because I wasn't happy with how it was done. And then I had to rig wires in for this thing so the lights would work, and I don't know, this is just such a mess. I need to get rid of this, I guess, and put a digital one in, and yeah. That'd probably be more ideal than whatever we got going on here. So yeah, definitely have some work to do. Let me know if you guys want to see me trying to troubleshoot all that nonsense. That doesn't sound very fun. Oh yeah, over here the passenger has their own little door they can open up, and this here will let air in. You can, what one is it? Heat? Yeah, heat. So that'll just hardcore block off the heat from getting to you. It'll let it in or let it out. Or, well, I guess the heater core is right there, so I guess it just shuts everything off. And then defrost would run right there to let air come out of here. There should be 2 hoses going to the top to run the defroster. And then the temperature control, I think, is up there. Yeah, that should be temperature. Nope, there's temperature, I think. Isn't that? It's not doing anything. What? That's that. That's that. Temperature something. No, I don't see it. Oh well. Go ahead and close that, and you got a little latch to keep it shut. We're going to use something else we unboxed on the channel. This is a Power Stroke Electric Start 3200 PSI 2.5 gallon per minute pressure washer. And boy, that's been a while back. Golly, how many years has that been? Probably 7, 8. We've been using this for quite a while. and it has just been reliable. The battery died. I mean, I didn't expect the electric start to last very long. It's rechargeable, but I tried charging it and all it did was let a goo out all over the floor. And yeah, if it dies, don't bother charging it. Like, if it's been a long time, just replace it. But for the most part, yeah, it's been so reliable. This thing works great. I don't even think you can buy these anymore. It's just gone out of, like, Walmart doesn't carry them. I think it was like $350 or something new, or something like that. I spent a bunch of money on it, but it was worth it. I use it all the time. So let's go ahead and give it a try. I think I did a video on a 0 tip, and it works great still for getting, it's a 0 degree nozzle that spins, turbo tip, but it'll rip paint off if you're not careful. So we're not going to use that. And instead I got this Hyper Tough selector end that has all of them on it, which just made more sense than trying to swap these out all the time. So you can just click it to, if you want a soap, 0 degree, 15 degree, 25 or 40, and it's all there on one. So you don't have to keep track of 4 or 5 different attachments. I just keep that one around for high pressure. And then we've got another attachment that I've been wanting to try for this. That's a sand blaster. We're gonna do videos on that when I get all ready to do that. I gotta get some good sand, and we're gonna give that a try, because I think that 8N Ford, we might try it on there and just see how it works. Give that hood a respray or something. I called it an 8N Ford. It's a 2N Ford. Man, I just can't win with the sun placement. It's just awful wherever I go. Make sure our switch is on, give it a little choke, and see. You know, she don't look bad when she's all wet. Once it dries out, it's going to look a little worse, but not too bad. We will take it. I've been thinking about getting some of that Vice Grip Garage Shine Juice and just spraying it over it. It's like a clear coat. It would make it look, you know, kind of like that, like it's wet. But I don't know. Let me know what you think about doing that. I would like to do some touch-up paint here and there though. You know, get rock chips and stuff, little bits peeling here and there. Yeah, it's not too bad. You know, it's a fun car to drive around. I gotta clean the windows up a little better. But, you know, you step back here, that's not a bad looking car. Well, I think we're gonna take it for a little spin around town, huh? How's that sound? Not much of a spin, but we'll take it for a little drive. Drive today. You notice something different? It's a whole nother day. We kind of ran into some issues the other day. What was wrong? They ran out of film? No. Oh, the battery died. That's what happened. And yeah, oh, I need to turn the air conditioners on. It is far too hot. If anyone's wondering about the mirror, that's a me thing. I have a driving restriction where I'm required by law to have 3 mirrors in my vehicle, but I'll tell you what, that don't do anything. You can't see out of it. It's there, but I couldn't tell you what's behind me if I had to use it. And if I put the factory correct style mirror, which just didn't actually have a third mirror that I know of, it'd be so low and forward to look correct that you would see like the top little bit of it. So it would be totally even more unusable. Oh, can't see that way. They got a bush there. Footage was useless. Well, I guess we'll do a 0 to 50 run. You're at 0. There's 20. 30. 40. 45. 50. How long was that? You guys all set up and the camera just decided that you're going to drift off and look into nowhere. I didn't have it shut all the way. I think I got a seatbelt on. killed it. Oh, all the way home. I had her in second. She didn't like that. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching, subscribing, liking, leaving comments. We have 5,000 on here, and I really appreciate it. Here's the 5 more. We'll see if we get to 10. But this has been really fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. Sometimes these videos do get a little frustrating to make because A, things don't go the way you want them to, and B, well, sometimes the camera doesn't work out or a scene doesn't go the way you want it to, and you know, you got to edit it and try and make it better. The most disheartening thing about all this is when you put multiple hours or a whole day worth of work into something and nobody watches it. Like that hurts the most. So hopefully we can get away from that and start doing some better content that you guys actually want to watch. As I show total darkness, gotta love it. I will see you all in the next one. Make sure to leave a like, hit subscribe. Have yourselves a great day.